Lorianne Crook and Charlie Chase, also the Top 30 Countdown, joining us here on the program today. Lorianne and Charlie, how are you doing?
We are great, and I heard your weather report. Don't be jealous, but as Joe Nichols says, here in Nashville, we are sunny and 75.
True, really. Oh, and by the way, well, you should have heard us. Well, maybe you shouldn't have heard us singing along with Joe Diffie there. And believe it or not, this weekend on our countdown, and Lorianne and I were disgusted to realize this later, we sang twice on the show this weekend.
By accident, yes.
Yeah, by accident. So.
We're not singers. We, Sarah Evans and a lot of country stars have done a kind of a Doobie Brothers collaboration album, and we were helping Sarah sing. Which was it? Listen to the music.
Listen to the music. Yeah, because when you hear the Doobie Brothers sing, it's kind of difficult to understand the lyrics. So we were trying to help her out, and it didn't go well. So.
No. Charlie's a pretty good singer. He really is. That great bass voice. I cannot carry. What is it you say? I can't carry a tune in a bucket or something like that. But yeah, it was pretty sad. So I think we'll just be happy to talk to you today and not sing to you.
That's right.
Well, if it's any consolation, my singing doesn't really fare well with my coworkers here either. So.
Yeah, they wonder why the studio door is always closed. Now we know.
Now we know. Wally feels our pain, so we're glad about that.
Well, I do have to say it is a privilege here to be speaking with both of you. You go back to the day of TNN and the Crook and Chase show, a great variety show that obviously a lot of people remember. So, I mean, just the work that you've done back in those days and today is just quite remarkable. How did the two of you manage to, have success as a duo in this industry? And really, how did the two of you actually come together?
Wow. That's a really good question. You bring up a really good point because, now let me think, Charlie, are we in our 32nd year together?
32nd year as a team, yeah.
Yeah. So, Wally, that's a really good question. And I just have to really give credit to the country music industry and the Nashville community because, we're a really tight community and, they tend to be loyal and if you try really hard to do good work, which look, we're not perfect and we've made our mistakes over the years just as everybody does, but I think the industry recognizes that we may not be the best, but we probably work harder than anybody. And so I think maybe, just working really, really hard to help break new artists and support the people who are already superstars. I hope that's the part of the equation there.
Wally, I think the key point in us getting started when we did, Jim Owens Entertainment is the one who had the idea of putting Lorianne and myself together as a team. This was back in 1983. At that point, there was nothing on television and very little on radio supporting country music by way of countdown or shows about what was going on in country music. So Jim had the idea of doing something called This Week in Country Music. And when we first started that show, it was once a week. It was a 30-minute show, which means on television it's 23 minutes of program time. And we had to struggle to fill 23 minutes of country music news at that point. And, of course, so we were there laying the foundation, and when country music basically exploded worldwide and the sales were just incredibly big, that was 1989, we were already in place. So we were fortunate to have been there in the early stages of country music, which I think has allowed us to continue for 3 decades.
That's right. A little bit of luck there.
And then you look at today and how country music had really evolved, and the sound of country music has really changed throughout these years. And, you go back to those early days and some of those early artists that you have chatted with and met when they were starting out. Some of these artists today are legends in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is so funny. We have a clip, and we laugh about this all the time, and thank goodness Garth Brooks does too. But years ago, in the 80s, we have the very first show, TV show, that we did with him And it was very cute because he had on a dark shirt. And he was so nervous that throughout the interview, under his armpits, you started to see the dark ring starting to appear. And so we really laugh about that in the early days, he was just so nervous being interviewed by us. Now that he's become the big superstar, we're the ones that have the sweat rings under our arms.
Well, hey, Wally, let me just point out that those sweat rings on Garth's shirt, that was an unanswered prayer.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
He was praying you weren't going to be sweating on television. It didn't happen.
Oh, I get it. Okay. You know, Wally, you would think that after all these years I would get Charlie's humor, and sometimes it just goes right by me.
Hey, Wally, the thing about the growth of country music has become number one worldwide, and we're proud to boast that fact. One reason why, you talked about how the sound of country music has changed. For example, you have Florida Georgia Line, and they're doing things that, really are attracting the younger audience. Yet, side by side, you got them with, I'll use the band Perry as an example, who recently released, and you'll hear that on the countdown this week, the tribute to Glenn Campbell and his music by doing Chattel on My Mind.
I heard that song, and it was absolutely remarkable.
I agree.
I told Lorianne I got chills the first time I heard that because, we've been around Glenn Campbell all of his career. And, we're just heartbroken to see all this happening to him. But at the same token, our hearts are warmed by the way country music has embraced what's going on with him and bringing his music back to a whole new generation, and they really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Wally, can we ask you a question?
Absolutely.
We are so happy and honored to be on your station and just to be engaging with your listeners. And we love to take the opportunity because we're always wanting to know, what do the real fans of country music think? So, as you're talking with all of your friends and your communities and all, who are some of the new artists and what are some of the new songs that are really resonating with and connecting with your station and you and your listeners?
I think a lot of the music of you look at Luke Bryan and Eric Church. I mean, those two artists really stand out amongst the others. I mean, it's really hard to choose.
It is, yes.
When it comes to those that are really making an impact, but those two tend to stand out a little above some of the others out there.
Right. And well, I was going to say just real quickly, what's so cool, Wally, about what you just said, and this is what I think is so important and amazing about country music in general, is that when you look at Luke Bryan and his performance style and his type of songs, and then you look at Eric Church, his performance style and his type of songs, these guys are completely different.
They are.
But they're great in their own way. And that's what we love about country music because, you can have somebody like Loretta Lynn who is still making albums and growing strong, and you can have somebody really edgy like Eric Church, and they all fit in, and they're all accepted.
When you look at a lot of these artists, too, I find that with a lot of them, it all boils down to the fact that a lot of these artists really enjoy that traditional sound of what country music stands for.
Yeah.
Yeah. They often pay tribute to that when they perform at the Ryman Auditorium, for example, here in Nashville. As part of the Grand Ole Opry or something like that. So, but overall, the music may be changing, but I think the loyalty and the love of country music in general, and even all the old songs, continues to be there. And the fun thing for Lorianne and me in doing this weekly countdown show is that we stay connected with the artists. We get interviews with them like you're not going to find anywhere else because we try to loosen them up and we bring out things on those folks that we've known for a long time that we think are very entertaining and that our listeners are going to find enjoyable. So we're just thrilled to death to be a part of the connection with you guys up there and bringing the countdown from Nashville. And we take you behind the scenes because we do the show right there on Music Row. So we go outside, we trip over Country Star. It's incredible. So,
Charlie kicks them to the curb, and yeah, they love it.
yeah, I just push them away. Yeah.
It doesn't get any closer than that. Lorianne Crook and Charlie Chase on the program here today. The countdown every Saturday here at noon on CFWE. And always some surprises when it comes to the countdown. Last week, Charlie, you had a birthday, and Lorianne had a little bit of a surprise there for you.
Well, yeah.
We are revoking his Broadcast Hall of Fame trophy. We think that now that we know the truth, we're not so sure about that.
Well, okay, so the truth comes out. Hey, one thing I will share with you that's really fun about birthdays and things like that. We on our Facebook page, if you go to our website, crookandchase.com, blatant plug, you can find the link to our countdown, and we're going to post the birthday card that I got from a 2-year-old grandson on there. And that's all I'm going to tell you. We talked a little bit about that. Today, and we're going to direct you to it. So
it's pretty cute.
yeah. But no, it was a good birthday, and I can always count on Lorianne to do the least amount possible to make me happy. So.
No, we just did a little blooper thing on Charlie, showing that as much as we love him, he's not perfect, but that is what is so lovable about him.
But hey, Wally, the thing is, I'm happy they didn't do the bleeper reel. They did the blooper, not the bleeper. Big difference.
Yeah. We have some of those, Wally. I'll send those to you, kind of under the table there.
Yeah, right.
So does that mean Lorianne's going to have to sort of keep her guards up when her birthday rolls around there, Charlie?
Yes. Yes.
Pretty much count on that, Wally.
I'm scared. I'm very scared, Wally.
Well, I do have to say it's been a absolute honor to speak with both of you here this morning.
Well, listen, same here. You are so sweet, and we are just honored that you wanted to talk to us and for us to be a part of your station and get to be with your listeners every week is just huge for us.
Thank you, Wally. We appreciate it, bud.